Taurus smashed his fist on the console so hard it dented the metal, cursing the wolves for stranding his ambassador and delegation on that savage, hellish rock they called a homeworld. "Damn it, Xyla, this is a fucking disaster," Taurus snarled, his yellow eyes flashing. "Those primitive brutes attacked without warning. Krell's ship is crippled. He and the others are trapped down there." Xyla flinched back, his scales paling. "Can't we send a rescue, mount an extraction?" "And risk all-out war with the wolves?" Taurus slammed his fist again. "No, we severely underestimated them. We thought they were uncultured barbarians. But it's worse. The humans." "The humans? What do they have to do with this?" Taurus whirled, looming over his subordinate. "Everything. The humans are why the wolves struck, why Krell is stranded, why we may lose the Tizun system entirely." Xyla's jaw dropped. Losing the resource-rich Tizun system would cripple the Lemnorian Empire's expansion. Taurus's promotion to system overseer would be revoked in disgrace, and the ambassador left behind would likely be brutally executed by the wolves. What happened?" Xyla asked shakily. "How did the humans cause this?" Taurus stared out the viewport at the curved horizon of WolvesWorld. The desolate grey landscape seemed to mock him as he gathered his thoughts. The wolves were never a threat, just uncivilized upstarts, but then they met the humans and everything changed. His voice trailed off ominously as he remembered the first encounters, the incidents that had spiraled out of control, leading to this dangerous crisis point, with his ambassador stranded and defenseless, surrounded by wolves out for blood. All because he had underestimated the most unpredictable, tenacious species in the galaxy, the humans. Taurus takes a deep breath. His voice lowers to a menacing growl. That arrogant fool Krell thought he could just walk in and take over, even after Bel had earned the wolves' loyalty. He threatened Ulfric, said the Lemnorian Empire would put them in their place if they didn't fall in line. And that's when things got ugly. Xyla gulps nervously. What happened?" Taurus shakes his head almost in disbelief. The wolves attacked, without warning, without mercy. They tore into Krell's security detail like they were made of paper. Krell barely made it back to his shuttle, but before he could take off, the wolves launched a barrage of plasma missiles, blew the shuttle's engines clean off. Xyla's scales turn a sickly shade of green. "Stars above is the ambassador. Is he still alive?" "For now," Taurus grunts. His distress beacon is still active, but he's stranded down there, surrounded by wolves out for blood, and it's all because of that damned human Bel. Xyla frowns, confused. "I don't understand. How is this Bel's fault? It sounds like Ambassador Krell is the one who provoked the wolves." Taurus slams his fist on the console again, making Xyla jump. "You don't get it, do you? Bel knew exactly what he was doing. He played the wolves like a fiddle, earned their trust, their respect. He made Krell look weak in comparison. And when Krell tried to reassert his authority, Bel just sat back and watched as the wolves tore him apart." Xyla's eyes widen with realization. You think Bel planned this? That he wanted the negotiations to fail?" Taurus laughs bitterly. "Oh, I don't think, Xyla. I know. This is what the humans do. They find a primitive, resource-rich world, and they manipulate the locals to gain control. They did it with the Zanik, the Hoda-Al, and a dozen other species, and now they've done it with the wolves." Xyla shakes his head in disbelief. "But why? What do the humans gain from this?" Taurus stares out at the desolate landscape of WolvesWorld, his eyes hard and cold. "Everything. With the wolves under their control, the humans gain access to the Tizun system's resources. They gain a strategic foothold in this sector of space, and they gain a powerful new ally, one that's willing to fight and die for them." Xyla falls silent, the weight of Taurus's words sinking in. He realizes now the true extent of the humans' cunning, their ruthless ambition, and he shudders to think of what they might do next. Taurus turns back to the console, his claws clicking rapidly over the keys. "We have to get Krell out of there. We have to salvage this situation before it's too late, before the humans take everything." Xyla strokes his chin thoughtfully. "What about Commander Vox? He's the wolves' most respected warrior. If we could convince him that the Lemnorian Empire is just as worthy of respect as the humans, maybe he could sway Ulfric's opinion. Taurus's eyes light up. Vox, yes, that could work. He's proud and stubborn, but he respects strength above all else. If we can prove our mettle to him, he might be willing to listen. Xyla leans forward eagerly. How do we do that? Challenge him to a duel? Taurus shakes his head. No, that would be seen as an insult. Vox only fights those he considers equals. We need to be more subtle, more strategic. He taps a few more buttons on the console, zooming in on a particular region of WolvesWorld. There in the Jagged Claw Mountains, that's where Vox goes to hunt the dire beasts, the most fearsome predators on the planet. If we could bring one down before he does... Xyla's eyes widen. You want to hunt a dire beast? Are you insane? Those things are massive, with claws like scythes and hides like armor. Even the wolves fear them. Taurus grins fiercely. Exactly. Imagine the look on Vox's face when we present him with a dire beast's head. He'll have no choice but to acknowledge our strength and skill. Xyla swallows nervously. I don't know, Taurus. It's a huge risk. If something goes wrong... Taurus claps him on the shoulder. It's a risk we have to take. The fate of the Tizen system hangs in the balance. We can't let the humans outmaneuver us, not when the stakes are this high. Xyla takes a deep breath, then nods. All right, I'm in. But we'll need a team of our best hunters and trackers, and we'll need to move fast before Bel secures that deal with the wolves. Taurus nods grimly. Agreed, I'll assemble the team. You get the gear and supplies ready. We leave at dawn. As Xyla hurries off to make preparations, Taurus turns back to the viewport, his gaze fixed on the jagged peaks of the Jagged Claw Mountains. He knows the risks, knows the dangers that await them on the hunt, but he also knows that failure is not an option. The Lemnorian Empire's future depends on their success, and he'll be damned if he lets a bunch of hairless apes from a backwater planet get the better of him. Taurus's claws dig into the console, his eyes narrowing with determination. Taurus turns to Xyla, his eyes flashing with a newfound spark of determination. Summon Krax to the briefing room immediately. We need to move fast if we're going to make this work. Xyla nods sharply and activates his wrist communicator. Krax, report to the command deck, priority 1. Minutes later, the doors slide open with a hiss, revealing the imposing figure of Krax. The Lemnorian security chief stands at attention, his broad shoulders squared and his eyes alert. "So you called for me, Overseer," Krax rumbles, his deep voice echoing in the cramped briefing room. Taurus steps forward, his claws clasped behind his back. "We have a mission for you, Krax, one that could determine the fate of our negotiations with the wolves." Krax's brow furrows. "I'm listening." Taurus begins to pace, his tail swishing behind him. "The human Jesse Bell has challenged us to a race through the canyons of WolvesWorld, a test of skill, speed, and technological prowess." Krax's eyes narrow. "And you want me to be our champion?" Taurus nods. "Precisely, but you won't be alone. Xyla has proposed embedding a team of our best engineers and scientists with you to help design and construct the craft." Krax's jaw tightens. "With all due respect, Overseer, I work best alone. I don't need a bunch of eggheads slowing me down." Xyla steps forward, his hands raised in a placating gesture. "I understand your concerns, Krax, but this is no ordinary race. The canyons of WolvesWorld are treacherous, filled with obstacles and hazards that would test even the most skilled pilot." Krax snorts. "I've flown through worse." Taurus fixes him with a steely gaze. "Perhaps. But this is not just about winning the race. It's about proving to the wolves that we are worthy allies, that our technology and expertise can match the humans." Krax is silent for a moment, his eyes distant as he considers the weight of the mission. Finally he nods. "I understand. I'll do whatever it takes to secure our position with the wolves." Taurus claps him on the shoulder. "Excellent. Xyla will brief you on the details and introduce you to your team. Remember, failure is not an option. The future of the Lemnorian Empire depends on your success." As Krax turns to leave, Xyla falls into step beside him, his voice lowered. "One more thing, Krax. The wolves can never know about the team we're embedding with you. As far as they're concerned, you're building and piloting the craft alone. Krax's eyes flash with understanding. Bell won't have that advantage. Xyla nods, a sly grin spreading across his face. Exactly. We're playing to our strengths, Krax, and with our superior technology and your skills behind the controls, we'll leave that human choking on our exhaust. Krax chuckles, a rare sound from the stoic warrior. I like the way you think, Xyla. Let's get to work. We have a race to win. Taurus and Xyla watch the monitors intently as the race unfolds on the surface of WolvesWorld. The canyons stretch out before them, a labyrinth of red rock and perilous ravines. Krax stands proudly beside his sleek silver craft, a testament to Lemnorian engineering prowess. Across from him, Jesse Bell leans nonchalantly against his own vehicle, a ramshackle contraption that appears on the verge of collapse. Taurus's brow furrows. I have a bad feeling about this. Bell looks far too self-assured. What if he's hiding something? Xyla dismisses the concern with a wave of his hand. Nonsense, our craft is vastly superior. Krax is guaranteed to win. As the race commences, the two vehicles roar to life, spewing clouds of crimson dust as they careen into the canyons. Initially, Krax surges ahead, his craft deftly navigating the serpentine turns with precision and finesse. However, as the race progresses, Bell's vehicle starts to close the gap, its rugged design allowing it to bounce and barrel over hurdles that hinder Krax's progress. Taurus pounds his fist on the console in frustration. This is impossible. Our craft is swifter and more sophisticated. Xyla's eyes widen as realization dawns. It's not a matter of speed. Bell's vehicle is tailored to this terrain. He must have analyzed the landscape and exploited flaws in our design. In the final leg of the race, Bell's craft surges ahead, crossing the finish line a mere heartbeat before Krax. The wolves erupt in jubilation, their howls reverberating through the canyons. Ambassador Krell and his delegation, observing from the sidelines, bow their heads in defeat. Taurus turns to Xyla, his expression somber. We've been bested. The wolves will never hold us in esteem now. Bell has triumphed. Xyla nods despondently. And with the wolves backing, the humans will gain a toehold in this sector. They'll command the resources and trade routes. Our sway here has come to an end. As the two Lemnorians observe, Jesse Bell emerges from his craft, thrusting his fist in the air in triumph. The wolves encircle him, cheering and chanting his name. Ambassador Krell approaches, his countenance stony, and extends a hand in reluctant congratulations. Bell grins, firmly shaking Krell's hand. No ill will, Ambassador. Just bear in mind when dealing with humans, always anticipate the unanticipated. Taurus averts his gaze from the screen, the gravity of their loss weighing heavily upon him. The Council will be displeased. We'll be fortunate to avoid being recalled in ignominy. Xyla sighs. We miscalculated the humans and we've paid the price. We can only hope the rest of the galaxy takes heed of our folly. As the two Lemnorians sit in silence, the image on the screen lingers on Jesse Bell, his face aglow with the radiance of victory, a stark reminder of the might and cunning of the human race. Xyla shakes his head in disbelief. I still can't fathom how Bell managed to outmaneuver us. His craft looked like it was cobbled together from scrap metal and prayers. Taurus's eyes narrow. It's as if he knew exactly what weaknesses to exploit in our design, but how could he have gained access to such information? A heavy silence falls between them as they ponder the implications. Finally, Xyla speaks, his voice low and troubled. You don't think... Could there be a leak within our own ranks, someone feeding the humans intel? Taurus's jaw clenches. It's a disturbing thought, but one we can't afford to dismiss. We need to launch a full investigation quietly. If there is a traitor among us, we must root them out before they can do any further damage. Xyla nods grimly. Agreed, but we must tread carefully. If word of this gets out, it could undermine faith in our leadership and destabilize the entire region. Taurus rises from his seat, his expression hardened with resolve. Then we keep this between us for now. Not a word to anyone, not even the Council. We'll get to the bottom of this, one way or another. As Xylar murmurs his assent, Taurus turns back to the screen, his gaze fixated on the victorious figure of Jessie Bell. The human had outplayed them at every turn, exploiting their weaknesses and turning the tables in his favor. But this was far from over. The Lemnorians had underestimated the humans once. They would not make the same mistake again. Taurus's claws curl into fists at his sides. One way or another he would find out how Bell had pulled off this upset, and when he did, there would be a reckoning. The image on the screen shifts, focusing in on Bell's face as he basks in the adulation of the wolves. His eyes, alight with triumph, seem to stare directly into the camera, as if issuing a silent challenge. "Enjoy your victory while you can, human," Taurus mutters under his breath. "We'll see who has the last laugh in the end." You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.